leadership is a journey, and every interaction you have with your team members, your boss, your coworkers is an opportunity to learn. And there's no right or wrong answer. You can develop your own individual leadership style, and it can be your positive experience. And so I think there's not one way to do leadership. There's a lot of great leadership information out there, but developing your own leadership style, I think, is really important.
Welcome to the True Leadership Podcast, where we sit down with executive leaders to explore what leadership really means through the lens of their stories, their wins, their struggles, their vision, and their lessons along the way. I'm Ty Hammond, founder of One Mountain Leadership and creator of the True Leadership Approach, an awareness-based path that helps leaders shift their focus from what to do about their problems to how to grow from them. Whether you're just stepping into leadership or are well-seasoned and at the top of your game, your potential won't be realized following someone else's script, but you can draw insights from their stories and turn it into wisdom by putting it into practice in your own life.
Welcome to the True Leadership Podcast, where we explore the essence of leadership beyond tactics and performance by sitting down with executives to hear what matters most to them. I'm your host, Jessy James, and today's guest is Leah Gray. Leah Gray is the founder and partner of Gray CFO Consulting, where she provides fractional CFO services to small and mid-sized businesses seeking greater clarity, confidence, and strategic financial leadership. A CPA with experience spanning high growth and enterprise organizations, Leah partners with founders to optimize cash flow, strengthen financial systems, and build sustainable growth strategies without the overhead of a full-time CFO. Previously, Leah held senior finance roles at Zanotti, Zillow, and Habara, where she led global teams, closed complex financings, and developed KPI-driven models to increase enterprise value. She is known for translating financial complexity into clear, actionable roadmaps that enable purposeful, scalable growth. Leah, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here.
Wonderful.
Great.
Leah, I'm curious, who is someone from your early life or even an early experience that shaped the kind of leader that you are today?
Well, when I think of my early career, I've spent my first decade at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and there was a lot of wonderful leaders that I worked with. One of the leaders, though, did make an impact on me. My team was working on a very high profile project, and it was an SEC filing. And during that project, there was a mistake on one of our footnotes. And I remember having to go into the partner's office and explain that we made a mistake on this footnote. And the way he handled it was, he could have been very upset. He could have been a very punitive situation, but instead he turned it into an excellent training opportunity and growth opportunity and explained that this was an issue, this should never happen again, and we got to fix it together. And I remember thinking, I was 24 years old. I remember thinking, what a good leader. That could have gone so much. That could have been a very difficult situation to handle. I felt like I was going to get fired. I mean, I thought there was all these other things that were going to happen, but that was not exactly the case. And how he handled it was very professional. He used it as a growth plan, and we were able to move forward in a really positive manner. And I saw a lot of leaders at PwC, but certain things really stuck out to me. And a lot of the really good leaders were able to just use those opportunities to train and improve people's skill sets instead of be punitive and say, hey, this is, you did a bad job, or change the morale of the person.
Yeah, that's an incredible experience. And I'm curious, how did this person inform who you are as a leader today?
That person taught me a great way to be a leader and a great way to listen, identify the issue, and train and work with the team member instead of having a big reaction, an emotional reaction, having a very calm, thought-provoking training plan to go forward in a difficult situation. It was a great thing to learn as a young person, because that informed how I was a leader later. Now, it's not that I didn't make more mistakes. However, I do think that having a calm plan with any kind of issue is one of the things as a leader I really work on.
Got it. I'm curious, what is, when we talk about true leadership, what does that mean to you?
True leadership means to me that each person that I'm working with, I bring out the best in that person. And I bring out the best work ethic, their growth plan, and how we work together. I really like to have fun. True leadership means, how do we make this fun? Everybody's got to go to work, and that's great. But we can also make the environment really fun to be in, and because we already know what we're going to do, we can make it, and we can change how we work together. So true leadership to me means just keeping the environment really focused and fun and working together and bringing out everybody's individual capacity so that they also can enjoy the experience.
Got it. Can you share about a time when you realized that your way of leading or living no longer met the demands of your work and life and growth was needed?
Yes, there was another PricewaterhouseCoopers project that I was on in Germany, and it was a 6-month project, and there was 45 people on the project, and I led 15 team members. That project was high intensity, 10, 12-hour days, and I led my section of the team to meet the deadlines, and my specific team worked really, really hard. However, the feedback I received after that project was that I had pushed the team too hard, and I had put the deadlines above the people's well-being and what their capabilities were. So that was a hard thing for me to learn, but work-life balance and thinking about the people first and the deadlines second was really important. Was really important for me to learn at that time, and is really important today. You do not want to, as a leader, I really look at deadlines, and if it's realistic, we should go for it. If it's not realistic, we should really change it and make sure that it is realistic for all the team members. And that's really what I learned in that whole process, because you don't want to push your team so hard that you have mental well-being issues or people are working and there's no work-life balance, because you aren't a good leader if you're pushing for unrealistic deadlines.
Yeah. And, Leah, we're also hardwired to keep the envelope, push the envelope, keep things going, right? And I'm curious, in this instance, in this situation, what did you have to outgrow or let go in order to grow beyond that?
I had to let go of hitting every deadline provided to me, and I had to let go of having deadlines dictated to me. I had to basically look at and understand, and I had to push back on what can actually be done when, and what is the realistic deadline. And that was with different projects and different clients. But it was a super valuable lesson to learn, because once I let go of, hey, this deadline that they provided is wrong. And once I let go of the fact that sometimes the information I received wasn't correct or realistic, and I really did due diligence on the plan before I subjected my team to it, it made me a much better leader, because then I knew I could sign my team up for a realistic plan and deadline. And I had to let go of, I had a hard time pushing back. I would sometimes say, okay, I got this plan, we're going to get it done. I got this plan, we're going to get it done. That's, a leader needs to push back and go, I've got this plan. This can work and this can't work, but we can do this plan and hit these deadlines and make it more realistic so it actually we can execute on it.
Leah, thinking about your journey over the past few years, what's been the most valuable investment that you've made in yourself for your own growth?
I have I've taken some training courses on how to train my team members and how to package information into PowerPoints and training videos so I can really train my team members. And I invested I've taken a number of courses so that I'm a better trainer, and I'm more patient in explaining, I'm using better examples, and I'm a more effective trainer. I think that in accounting and finance teams, you're working with all different types of people and all different types of skill sets. So I really had to make an investment and take some time to understand how people learned. So I did some training on my own with various different organizations to understand how to be a better trainer.
And what difference did that make in your leadership, in your style, and how you lead?
By becoming a better trainer, I've been able to teach my team additional skill sets, processes, procedures, systems to help to become more high performance team and to become a better and more efficient team. And in the age of AI, as we're learning AI, that's a perfect example. Training my team on AI and how we're going to use AI, that because I did the training courses on what's the best way to explain this component to all my team members, the training has been very effective. The other thing is, I think that now that I've become a better trainer of team members, I can also adjust expectations and ask team members how are they feeling about it? How are they feeling about their job? And as a leader, that's really important. Understanding how people are doing. The best leadership in the world is the check-in, just checking in with our team members. So it's helped me be better at training and checking in and really just being a better leader overall.
Got it. What's your vision for your leadership, your legacy, or the impact that you want to have in the years ahead?
I really want to be a great mentor leader. I want to continue my leadership journey by teaching other people that I work with, other team members, my leadership, but mentor them in leadership growth. And really to think about leadership as not finite, but over time, growing over time, and really developing a leadership plan.
Thank you. So in this process, what are the ways in which you feel you need to personally grow and develop to realize that vision?
I need to really focus on how to be a great mentor, how to set aside the time, set aside a framework, put some tools together to really say, how am I going to pass this wonderful leadership that I've learned and developed over 30 years to the next generation? How do I package that, all of that great knowledge, and then train my team members on my mentor leadership over the next 5 years?
Where do you feel most tested right now? Like what challenges are stretching you the most in leadership and in life?
I think in leadership, still being calm in a situation, in the financial group, you always got a fire. There's a lot of issues going on at this, a lot of fire drills that are happening all the time in any business, right? Because it's a business. There's always different things that are happening. And I think one thing I'm working on is just still being calm with the largest fire burning. The biggest issue that comes in, we still have got a plan to figure out exactly what our next steps are. So my biggest area that I'm working on is just really being that calm, decisive, thoughtful, knowledgeable leader. And as you mentioned at the beginning, I'm working with a lot of CEOs and founders with their businesses. That's a lot of work because our wonderful CEOs and founders are visionaries. They're thinking of all these great things to do. However, we have to be calm and we have to put that in the financial plan and we have to execute it. And there is a lot of different connections that have to make to connect those two things. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Fantastic. So this last question is more of an invitation. You have the time and space here to offer to our listeners whatever it is that's most top of the mind for you, top of your heart and mind. Anything at all, share straight from your heart. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Well, I just want to say that leadership is a journey, and every interaction you have with your team members, your boss, your coworkers is an opportunity to learn. And there's no right or wrong answer. And you can develop your own individual leadership style, and it can be your positive experience. And So I think there's not one way to do leadership. There's a lot of great leadership information out there, but developing your own leadership style, I think, is really important.
Leah, I appreciate the wisdom that you've shared with us here today. I've gotten so much out of this conversation, and I'm sure that whoever's listening will benefit equally from what you've shared. Thank you so much for being on the True Leadership Podcast.
Thank you so much. It's been great to be here.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of the True Leadership Podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this to catch future episodes. This conversation was brought to you by One Mountain Leadership, where we help leaders grow the capacity, confidence, and presence of true leadership through the True Leadership approach. To learn more about the approach, our offerings, our community, and how we can help you realize your potential in both leadership and in life, visit us at onemountainleadership.com.